Sarah Martinez had always been small for her age, standing barely 5 feet 4 inches tall with a frame that looked more suited for a library than a military base. At 22 years old, she carried herself with quiet determination, but her soft-spoken nature and gentle demeanor often led people to underestimate her capabilities. Growing up in a small town in Texas, she had learned early that being underestimated could sometimes be an advantage. The daughter of a mechanic and a schoolteacher, Sarah had surprised everyone when she announced her intention to join the Marines. Her parents had initially tried to dissuade her, worried about their daughter's safety and questioning whether she had the physical and mental toughness required for military service. Her high school classmates had been equally skeptical, remembering her as the quiet girl who preferred books to sports, and had never shown any interest in physical confrontation. But Sarah had always possessed an inner strength that wasn't immediately visible to others. She had spent countless hours as a child helping her father in his garage, learning patience, precision, and the importance of getting things right the first time. Her mother had taught her the value of persistence and careful observation. These qualities, combined with an almost supernatural ability to remain calm under pressure, would prove to be exactly what she needed in the challenging world ahead. The decision to join the Marines hadn't come lightly. Sarah had spent months researching different military branches, talking to recruiters, and carefully considering her options. She was drawn to the Marines' reputation for excellence and their emphasis on precision and discipline. Despite the concerns of her family and friends, she felt a deep conviction that this was the path she was meant to follow. Boot camp at Parris Island had been every bit as challenging as she had expected. The drill instructors had immediately singled her out as someone who didn't fit the typical Marine mold. They questioned her motivation, tested her resolve, and pushed her to her physical and mental limits. But Sarah had persevered, drawing on reserves of determination that even she hadn't known she possessed. During those grueling weeks of training, Sarah had excelled in unexpected areas. While she struggled with some of the physical requirements initially, she had shown exceptional aptitude in weapons training and tactical thinking. Her instructors had noted her unusual ability to remain focused and calm during high-stress situations, traits that would serve her well in the field. The other recruits in her platoon had gradually come to respect her quiet competence. She wasn't the loudest or the strongest, but she was reliable and consistent. When others panicked or made mistakes under pressure, Sarah remained steady and focused. She helped struggling teammates without seeking recognition and never complained about the demanding training regimen. One particular incident during boot camp had stood out to her instructors. During a night navigation exercise, Sarah's team had become lost in dense terrain during a severe thunderstorm. While other team members had begun to panic and argue about which direction to take, Sarah had calmly used her compass and map-reading skills to guide them safely back to their checkpoint. She had demonstrated not just technical competence, but natural leadership abilities that emerged when they were most needed. After graduating from boot camp, Sarah had been assigned to additional training that would prepare her for her military occupational specialty. She had requested assignment to a role that would make use of her precision and attention to detail, hoping to contribute to the Marine Corps mission in a meaningful way. Her superiors had recognized her potential and recommended her for advanced training programs. The transition from civilian life to military service had been challenging in ways Sarah hadn't anticipated. Beyond the obvious physical demands and lifestyle changes, she had to adapt to a culture that often valued aggression and bravado over the quiet competence she naturally exhibited. She learned to speak up when necessary while maintaining her natural tendency toward careful observation and measured responses. During her advanced training, Sarah had discovered an unexpected affinity for marksmanship. While many of her fellow Marines approached shooting with enthusiasm and confidence, Sarah brought a methodical, almost scientific approach to the discipline. She studied ballistics, wind patterns, and environmental factors with the same intensity that others brought to physical training. Her instructors had noticed her unique approach to marksmanship training. While other trainees focused on speed and aggressive tactics, Sarah emphasized precision and consistency. She would spend extra time on the range after official training hours, not because she was struggling, but because she was fascinated by the technical aspects of accurate shooting and wanted to perfect her technique. Word of her unusual dedication and methodical approach had begun to spread among her training cadre. Some instructors were impressed by her commitment to excellence, while others questioned whether her deliberate style would be effective in real-world combat situations. The debate about her capabilities would follow her throughout her military career. As Sarah prepared for her first assignment to an active duty unit, she carried with her the lessons learned from her challenging journey through military training. She had proven to herself that she could meet the demanding standards of the Marine Corps, but she knew that the real test would come when she joined an operational unit where she would have to earn the respect of seasoned veterans. Her orders had arrived on a crisp autumn morning, directing her to report to Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton in California. She would be joining an elite reconnaissance unit known for its high standards and demanding training requirements. The unit had a reputation for accepting only the most capable Marines, and Sarah felt both honored and nervous about the opportunity to serve with such distinguished colleagues. The night before her departure, Sarah had called her parents to share the news of her assignment. Her father had expressed pride in her accomplishments while still worrying about her safety. Her mother had reminded her to stay true to herself and not let anyone convince her she didn't belong. Their support meant everything to her as she prepared to face the next challenge in her military career. As she packed her belongings and prepared for the journey to California, Sarah reflected on how much her life had changed since making the decision to join the Marines. She had discovered strengths she didn't know she possessed, and had proven that determination and skill could overcome initial appearances and preconceptions. The bus ride to Camp Pendleton gave Sarah time to think about what lay ahead. She knew that joining an elite unit would present new challenges and that she would once again have to prove herself to skeptical colleagues. But she also felt confident in her abilities and excited about the opportunity to serve alongside some of the Marine Corps' finest personnel. Arriving at Camp Pendleton, Sarah was struck by the base's impressive size and obvious efficiency. Marines moved with purpose and precision, and the overall atmosphere conveyed a sense of serious professionalism. She checked in at the administrative office and received directions to her assigned barracks and unit headquarters. Her first stop was to meet with her new commanding officer and receive her initial briefing. The walk across the base gave her a chance to observe her new environment and get a feel for the culture of her new unit. She noticed that the Marines she encountered carried themselves with obvious confidence and competence, confirming the unit's reputation for excellence. The meeting with her commanding officer had been brief but informative. He had reviewed her training records and expressed cautious optimism about her potential contributions to the unit. However, he had also made it clear that she would need to prove herself quickly and that the unit's high standards applied to everyone regardless of their background or previous achievements. Following her meeting with the commanding officer, Sarah had been assigned to temporary quarters and given a schedule for her first week of orientation and evaluation. She would participate in various training exercises and assessments designed to determine her readiness for assignment to one of the unit's operational teams. That evening, as she settled into her new quarters and prepared for the challenges ahead, Sarah felt a mixture of excitement and determination. She knew that the coming days would test her abilities and resolve, but she was confident in her preparation and committed to proving that she belonged among the elite Marines of her new unit. The stage was set for what would become a defining period in Sarah's military career, where her unique combination of technical skill, mental toughness, and quiet determination would be tested against the highest standards of Marine Corps excellence. The alarm clock's shrill sound cut through the pre-dawn darkness at 0430 hours, but Sarah Martinez was already awake, staring at the ceiling of her barracks room. She had barely slept, her mind racing with anticipation and nervous energy about her first full day with the elite reconnaissance unit. Today would mark the beginning of her integration period, where she would be evaluated and tested by some of the most experienced Marines in the Corps. Sarah quickly dressed in her utility uniform, ensuring every detail was perfect. She had learned during boot camp that first impressions were crucial, and she wanted to demonstrate from the very beginning that she understood and respected the unit's high standards. Her boots were polished to a mirror shine, her uniform was pressed and fitted properly, and her gear was organized with military precision. Walking across the base in the early morning darkness, Sarah encountered other Marines beginning their day. The base was already bustling with activity despite the early hour, a testament to the demanding schedule maintained by elite units. She could hear the sounds of physical training sessions already in progress, with drill instructors barking commands and Marines responding with disciplined enthusiasm. The unit headquarters building was an imposing structure that reflected the serious nature of the organization's mission. Inside, Sarah found a reception area where she was directed to wait for her assigned escort. The walls were decorated with unit citations, photographs of previous operations, and displays highlighting the achievements of distinguished unit alumni. Staff Sergeant Mike Rodriguez appeared precisely on schedule to begin Sarah's orientation. Rodriguez was a veteran of multiple deployments, with an impressive array of ribbons and badges that spoke to his extensive experience and expertise. At first glance, he appeared skeptical about the new arrival, his expression neutral but clearly evaluating Sarah's appearance and demeanor. "Martinez, I'm Staff Sergeant Rodriguez, and I'll be your sponsor during your integration period," he announced in a crisp, professional tone. "The next 2 weeks will determine whether you have what it takes to serve with this unit. We maintain standards here that exceed normal Marine Corps requirements, and not everyone who arrives successfully completes the evaluation process." Rodriguez led Sarah on a comprehensive tour of the unit's facilities, explaining the various training areas, equipment storage spaces, and administrative offices. The reconnaissance unit maintained specialized facilities that reflected their advanced mission requirements, including sophisticated communications equipment, specialized weapons systems, and training simulators that could replicate various operational environments. "This unit doesn't accept mediocrity in any form," Rodriguez explained as they walked through the main training facility. "Every Marine here has proven themselves capable of performing at the highest levels under the most demanding conditions. We expect the same level of excellence from everyone who joins our ranks, regardless of their background or previous experience." The tour concluded at the unit's firing range complex, an extensive facility with multiple ranges designed for different types of weapons training. Sarah noticed immediately that the ranges were more sophisticated than anything she had encountered during her previous training, with advanced target systems, environmental controls, and monitoring equipment that could precisely measure shooting performance. "Marksmanship is fundamental to our mission," Rodriguez noted, observing Sarah's interest in the range facilities. "Every member of this unit must demonstrate superior shooting skills across multiple weapon systems and under various environmental conditions. We'll be evaluating your abilities extensively during your time here." Following the tour, Sarah was introduced to the other members of her assigned squad. The team consisted of 8 experienced Marines, each with specialized skills and extensive operational experience. Their initial reaction to Sarah was politely professional but clearly reserved, reflecting their natural skepticism about new team members, until proven capabilities were demonstrated. Sergeant First Class James Thompson served as the squad leader, a position he had earned through 12 years of distinguished service and multiple combat deployments. Thompson was known throughout the unit for his tactical expertise and his ability to get the best performance out of his team members. He welcomed Sarah to the squad while making it clear that she would need to earn her place through demonstrated competence. "We work as a tight unit here, Martinez," Thompson explained during their initial meeting. "Every person on this team depends on every other person to perform their job with absolute reliability. Until you prove that you can meet our standards and contribute effectively to our mission, you'll be considered a probationary member of this squad." The other squad members each introduced themselves briefly, sharing their names, specialties, and years of service. Sarah was impressed by the collective experience represented in the group, with most members having served multiple tours in various conflict zones around the world. She felt honored to have the opportunity to serve with such distinguished colleagues, while acknowledging the challenge of proving herself worthy of their respect. Corporal David Kim served as the team's communications specialist, responsible for maintaining contact with higher headquarters and coordinating with other units during operations. Kim had a reputation for technical expertise and had developed several innovative communication procedures that had been adopted by other units throughout the Marine Corps. Lance Corporal Marcus Williams handled the squad's heavy weapons systems, bringing expertise with machine guns, mortars, and other crew-served weapons. Williams was known for his ability to deliver accurate and devastating fire support when needed, and his technical knowledge of weapons systems was considered among the best in the entire unit. Private First Class Tony Garcia specialized in explosives and demolitions, possessing skills that were essential for the unit's reconnaissance and sabotage missions. Garcia had completed advanced training in explosive ordnance disposal and could handle both friendly and enemy explosive devices with equal expertise. The remaining team members each brought their own specialized skills, creating a well-rounded unit capable of handling a wide variety of operational challenges. Sarah quickly realized that she would need to identify her own area of expertise and demonstrate how her abilities could contribute to the team's overall effectiveness. The first training exercise took place that afternoon at one of the unit's tactical training areas. The scenario involved a simulated reconnaissance mission where the squad had to infiltrate an area, gather intelligence, and extract without being detected. Sarah was assigned to observe the exercise and learn the unit's standard operating procedures before participating in future training. Watching the squad work together, Sarah was impressed by their level of coordination and professionalism. Every movement was deliberate and purposeful, with team members communicating through subtle hand signals and maintaining perfect situational awareness throughout the exercise. The level of tactical sophistication was significantly higher than anything she had experienced during her previous training. During the exercise debrief, Thompson analyzed the squad's performance with methodical precision, identifying areas where improvements could be made and acknowledging aspects of the mission that had been executed flawlessly. Sarah appreciated his balanced approach to feedback and his obvious commitment to continuous improvement. "Tomorrow we'll begin your formal evaluation process, Martinez," Thompson announced at the conclusion of the debrief. "You'll participate in a series of individual and team exercises designed to assess your capabilities across multiple skill areas. The evaluation will be comprehensive and demanding, so I recommend you get plenty of rest tonight." That evening, Sarah reviewed the training materials she had been given, studying the unit's tactical procedures and operational requirements. She wanted to be as prepared as possible for the challenges ahead, and was determined to demonstrate that her previous training had prepared her for this level of responsibility. The barracks environment was different from what she had experienced during boot camp and her initial training phases. The Marines in her unit carried themselves with obvious confidence and competence, and their conversations reflected extensive operational experience and technical expertise. Sarah listened carefully to their discussions, learning about the unit's culture and expectations. Several squad members approached her during the evening to offer informal advice about the upcoming evaluation process. While maintaining their professional reserve, they seemed willing to help her succeed if she demonstrated the right attitude and capabilities. Their guidance was practical and specific, reflecting their own experiences during their initial integration periods. "The key to success here is consistency," advised Kim during one of these conversations. "They'll test you under various conditions and stress levels, but what they're really looking for is whether you can maintain your performance standards regardless of the circumstances. Natural ability is important, but reliability is absolutely essential." Williams offered similar advice, emphasizing the importance of teamwork and communication. "Individual skills are necessary but not sufficient," he explained. "You have to demonstrate that you can work effectively with others, and that your presence makes the team stronger rather than creating additional challenges or vulnerabilities." Garcia focused on the mental aspects of the evaluation process, noting that the psychological pressure could be more challenging than the physical requirements. "They'll push you to see how you react under stress," he warned. "The key is to stay focused on your performance and not get distracted by the evaluation process itself." As the evening progressed, Sarah felt increasingly confident about her preparation and readiness for the challenges ahead. The advice from her new squad members had been helpful, and she appreciated their willingness to share their insights despite their natural skepticism about new arrivals. Before going to bed, Sarah spent time cleaning and inspecting her equipment, ensuring that everything was in perfect condition for the next day's activities. She had learned that attention to detail was crucial in elite units, and she wanted to demonstrate from the beginning that she understood and embraced these standards. The night passed slowly as Sarah's mind continued to race with thoughts about the upcoming evaluation. She knew that the next few days would be crucial for her future with the unit and was determined to give her absolute best effort. As she finally drifted off to sleep, she felt a mixture of nervous anticipation and quiet confidence about her ability to meet the challenges ahead. The foundation had been laid for what would prove to be a defining period in Sarah's military career, where her unique combination of skills and personal qualities would be tested against the demanding standards of one of the Marine Corps' most elite units. The second day of Sarah's integration period began before sunrise, with a comprehensive physical fitness assessment. The elite reconnaissance unit maintained fitness standards that exceeded standard Marine Corps requirements, and every member was expected to demonstrate superior physical conditioning across multiple disciplines. Sarah arrived at the designated training area 30 minutes early, using the extra time to warm up and mentally prepare for the demanding evaluation ahead. Master Sergeant Patricia Collins supervised the fitness assessment, bringing 22 years of experience and a reputation for fair but uncompromising evaluation standards. Collins had been one of the first women to serve with the reconnaissance unit and had earned universal respect through her demonstrated competence and unwavering dedication to excellence. Her presence as an evaluator sent a clear message about the unit's commitment to maintaining high standards regardless of gender or background. The physical requirements for this unit reflect the demanding nature of our operational missions, Collins explained to Sarah and 2 other Marines undergoing evaluation. You'll be tested on endurance, strength, agility, and mental toughness under conditions designed to simulate the stress and fatigue experienced during actual operations. The fitness assessment began with a timed run over varied terrain, including hills, obstacles, and different surface conditions. Sarah had always been a capable runner, but the pace and distance required for this evaluation exceeded anything she had previously encountered. She focused on maintaining steady breathing and efficient form, while pushing herself to keep up with the demanding pace set by her evaluators. Throughout the run, Collins and other evaluators observed not just Sarah's physical performance, but also her mental approach to the challenge. They noted her ability to maintain form and focus even as fatigue accumulated, and her determination to complete the course without compromising her effort level. These observations would become part of her overall evaluation profile. The strength assessment included traditional exercises like pull-ups and push-ups, but also incorporated functional movements that reflected real-world operational requirements. Sarah was required to carry heavy equipment over distances, climb ropes and walls, and perform lifting tasks that simulated the physical demands of reconnaissance missions. During the rope climbing exercise, Sarah demonstrated the methodical approach that characterized her performance in all areas. While other candidates attacked the rope with aggressive enthusiasm, Sarah used efficient technique and steady pacing to achieve consistent results. Her climbing time wasn't the fastest recorded, but her smooth, controlled ascent impressed the evaluators with its technical proficiency. The agility portion of the assessment challenged candidates to navigate complex obstacle courses under time pressure while maintaining accuracy and control. Sarah's natural coordination and careful approach served her well in this area, as she successfully completed each obstacle without rushing or making careless mistakes that could result in injury or mission failure. Martinez demonstrates solid physical conditioning and excellent body control, Collins noted during the evaluation debrief. Her approach is methodical and sustainable, which are important qualities for extended operations. She may not be the fastest or strongest candidate we've seen, but her consistency and technique are impressive. Following the physical assessment, Sarah participated in her first weapons evaluation with the unit's master gunner, Gunnery Sergeant Michael O'Brien. O'Brien had 30 years of experience with the Marine Corps and was widely regarded as one of the finest marksmen in the entire service. His evaluations were known for their thoroughness and technical rigor, and his approval was considered essential for assignment to operational teams. Marksmanship in this unit goes far beyond basic shooting skills, O'Brien explained as he led Sarah to the evaluation range. You'll be required to engage targets at various distances, under different environmental conditions, and with multiple weapon systems. Accuracy is important, but so are speed, adaptability, and the ability to perform under stress. The range evaluation began with basic marksmanship using the standard service rifle. Sarah approached the shooting line with characteristic calm, carefully checking her equipment and establishing her shooting position with deliberate precision. She took time to study the targets and environmental conditions before beginning her string of fire. O'Brien observed Sarah's shooting preparation with interest, noting her systematic approach to equipment setup and position establishment. Unlike many candidates who relied primarily on natural shooting ability, Sarah demonstrated thorough understanding of marksmanship fundamentals and applied them consistently throughout her performance. The first phase of shooting involved precision fire at known distances under ideal conditions. Sarah's shots grouped tightly around the target centers, demonstrating excellent technical control and consistency. Her scores placed her in the upper tier of candidates who had participated in similar evaluations, establishing her credibility as a skilled marksman. Your fundamental shooting skills are solid, Martinez, O'Brien commented during a brief pause between shooting phases. Now we'll see how you perform when conditions become more challenging and realistic. The second phase introduced time pressure and stress through rapid-fire exercises and moving targets. Sarah maintained her methodical approach while adapting to the increased pace and complexity of the shooting challenges. Her ability to stay calm under pressure proved to be a significant advantage as other candidates began to show signs of stress and declining performance. The third phase took place under simulated combat conditions, with noise, movement, and other distractions designed to test concentration and focus. Sarah's scores remained consistently high throughout these challenging scenarios, impressing O'Brien with her mental toughness and ability to maintain performance standards, despite increasing stress levels. The final phase of the weapons evaluation involved unknown distance shooting, where candidates had to estimate range and make appropriate sight adjustments without external assistance. This skill was crucial for reconnaissance missions, where precise engagement of targets might be necessary without the benefit of detailed intelligence or support equipment. Sarah approached the unknown distance challenges with the same systematic methodology she had demonstrated throughout the evaluation. She carefully studied the terrain and target characteristics, used her knowledge of ballistics and environmental factors to estimate distances, and made precise adjustments to her equipment before engaging the targets. Her performance on the unknown distance portion of the evaluation was exceptional, with accuracy levels that exceeded O'Brien's expectations. She demonstrated not just good shooting skills, but also strong analytical abilities and tactical understanding that would be valuable in operational situations. Martinez has shown impressive marksmanship capabilities across all phases of this evaluation, O'Brien noted in his assessment report. Her technical skills are excellent, but more importantly, she demonstrates the mental discipline and tactical understanding necessary for effective performance in challenging operational environments. The afternoon portion of Sarah's evaluation focused on tactical skills and decision-making abilities. She was presented with a series of scenarios that required her to analyze situations, develop plans, and execute solutions under time pressure and with limited information. These exercises were designed to assess her potential for leadership and independent operation in complex environments. The first tactical scenario involved route planning for a reconnaissance patrol through hostile territory. Sarah was provided with maps, intelligence reports, and mission requirements, then asked to develop a plan that balanced mission accomplishment with team safety and security. Her approach was characteristically thorough, as she carefully analyzed all available information before developing her recommendations. Sarah's route planning demonstrated strong analytical skills and practical tactical understanding. She identified potential dangers and opportunities along different route options, developed contingency plans for various situations, and presented her recommendations in a clear, organized manner that showed respect for proper military planning procedures. The second scenario required her to assume leadership of a small team during a simulated emergency situation. Team members were played by experienced Marines who deliberately introduced complications and challenges to test Sarah's ability to maintain control and make effective decisions under pressure. Throughout the leadership exercise, Sarah demonstrated calm, confident command presence, while remaining open to input from team members. She delegated tasks effectively, maintained situational awareness, and adapted her plans as conditions changed. Her performance impressed the evaluators with its maturity and practical effectiveness. Martinez shows strong potential for leadership roles within the unit, reported Captain Jennifer Walsh, who supervised the tactical evaluations. She demonstrates good judgment under pressure and has the communication skills necessary to work effectively with experienced team members. The day concluded with a comprehensive medical and psychological evaluation designed to ensure that new unit members were prepared for the physical and mental demands of reconnaissance operations. The medical portion confirmed that Sarah was in excellent health and physically prepared for the demanding training and operational schedule maintained by the unit. The psychological evaluation involved interviews with trained counselors who assessed mental resilience, stress tolerance, and emotional stability. Sarah's calm, measured responses and obvious self-confidence made a positive impression on the evaluation team, who noted her apparent ability to handle stress and uncertainty without compromising her performance or judgment. That evening, Sarah received preliminary feedback on her first day of formal evaluation. While the final assessment would not be completed until she had finished all required testing, the initial results were encouraging. She had demonstrated solid capabilities across multiple skill areas and had shown the kind of consistent performance that the unit valued in its personnel. Staff Sergeant Rodriguez provided the feedback during a private meeting, emphasizing that while her performance had been promising, she still needed to complete several more evaluation phases before any final decisions would be made about her assignment to an operational team. "You've made a good impression so far, Martinez," Rodriguez acknowledged. "But remember that this unit's standards are comprehensive and demanding. Tomorrow's evaluations will present different challenges, and maintaining consistent performance throughout the entire process is essential for success." Sarah spent the evening studying materials for the next day's evaluations, which would focus on communications, navigation, and survival skills. She felt confident about her preparation and was encouraged by the positive feedback she had received, but she also understood that she needed to maintain her focus and continue performing at high levels throughout the remaining evaluation period. The successful completion of her first day of formal evaluation represented an important milestone in Sarah's integration process, but she knew that greater challenges lay ahead as the unit continued to test her capabilities and determine her suitability for assignment to operational duties. The third day of Sarah's evaluation period would prove to be the most crucial test of her abilities and the defining moment that would establish her reputation within the elite reconnaissance unit. The day was designated for advanced marksmanship evaluation, where candidates would be tested under the most challenging and realistic conditions possible. This evaluation would take place at the unit's premier training range, a sophisticated facility that could simulate virtually any operational environment. Sarah arrived at the Grange complex before dawn, carrying her issued rifle and the specialized equipment she had been assigned for the evaluation. The morning air was crisp and clear, with light winds that would provide ideal conditions for precision shooting. She used the early arrival time to familiarize herself with the range layout and begin her mental preparation for the demanding day ahead. The range facility was unlike anything Sarah had previously encountered during her military training. Multiple shooting positions were connected by a series of walkways and observation areas, allowing evaluators to monitor performance from various vantage points. Target systems could be positioned at distances ranging from close quarters to extreme long range, and environmental controls could simulate different weather and lighting conditions. Gunnery Sergeant O'Brien began the day with a comprehensive briefing for all evaluation candidates, explaining the various phases of testing that would take place and the performance standards that would be applied. The evaluation would progress from basic precision shooting through increasingly complex and realistic scenarios designed to test every aspect of marksmanship capability. Today's evaluation will separate the truly skilled marksmen from those who merely have good basic shooting abilities, O'Brien announced to the assembled group. You'll be tested on accuracy, speed, adaptability, and performance under stress. Some of you will exceed our expectations, while others may discover that your abilities are not suited for our operational requirements. The first phase of evaluation took place at the precision rifle range, where candidates would engage targets at distances exceeding anything encountered in standard Marine Corps training. The targets were smaller and more challenging than typical training targets, requiring exceptional accuracy and technical skill to achieve qualifying scores. Sarah approached her assigned firing position with the same methodical preparation she had demonstrated throughout her evaluation period. She carefully inspected her rifle and ammunition, verified her equipment settings, and established a solid, comfortable shooting position. Other candidates were moving more quickly through their preparations, but Sarah understood the importance of thorough setup for precision shooting. The first string of fire required engaging targets at 400 yards under ideal conditions. Sarah took her time to establish proper sight picture and breathing rhythm before beginning her engagement sequence. Her shots landed consistently in the target center, producing tight groups that impressed the range safety officers and evaluators observing her performance. As the evaluation progressed to longer distances, Sarah continued to demonstrate exceptional accuracy and consistency. At 600 yards, her performance remained at the same high level, with shot groups that would have been considered excellent even under laboratory conditions. The evaluators began to take special notice of her shooting, as her scores were significantly higher than those typically achieved during this phase of testing. The 800-yard phase separated the truly skilled marksmen from those with merely adequate abilities. At this distance, minor errors in technique, equipment setup, or environmental assessment resulted in significant degradation of accuracy. Sarah's methodical approach and thorough understanding of ballistics principles allowed her to maintain excellent performance even as other candidates began to struggle. Martinez is demonstrating exceptional long-range shooting capabilities, noted Sergeant Major Robert Hayes, who was observing the evaluation as part of his role in selecting personnel for specialized assignments. Her consistency at extended ranges suggests she has the potential for specialized marksman roles that require the highest levels of precision and reliability. The morning precision shooting phase concluded with engagements at 1,000 yards, a distance that challenged even experienced marksmen and required mastery of advanced shooting techniques. Sarah's performance at this extreme distance was remarkable, with accuracy levels that exceeded the qualification standards by significant margins. Following a brief break for equipment inspection and preparation, the evaluation moved into more dynamic and realistic shooting scenarios. These exercises were designed to test candidates' abilities to perform under stress, time pressure, and changing conditions that more closely resembled actual operational environments. The first dynamic exercise required candidates to engage multiple targets from different shooting positions while moving through a course of fire. Time limits were imposed to create pressure, and targets appeared and disappeared according to predetermined sequences that demanded quick target acquisition and engagement decisions. Sarah's approach to the dynamic shooting exercises demonstrated her ability to adapt her methodical style to more demanding situations. While she maintained her emphasis on accuracy and control, she was able to increase her pace and transition between targets efficiently. Her scores remained consistently high throughout the exercise series. The stress shooting phase introduced additional complications designed to test performance under pressure. Loud noises, smoke, and other distractions were used to simulate battlefield conditions, while time limits and scoring penalties created additional psychological pressure for the candidates. Throughout the stress shooting exercises, Sarah demonstrated remarkable mental toughness and focus. Her ability to remain calm and maintain her shooting technique despite significant distractions, impressed the evaluators, who noted her unusual capacity to compartmentalize external pressures and concentrate on performance fundamentals. Martinez shows exceptional stress tolerance and mental discipline, observed Captain Walsh, who was responsible for psychological assessment of candidates. Her ability to maintain performance standards under pressure indicates strong potential for operational effectiveness in high-stress environments. The afternoon portion of the evaluation introduced the most challenging and realistic shooting scenarios, designed to test candidates under conditions that closely approximated actual combat situations. These exercises required not just shooting skill, but also tactical thinking, decision-making, and the ability to adapt to rapidly changing circumstances. The first tactical shooting exercise presented a scenario where candidates had to engage hostile targets while avoiding civilian targets positioned throughout the course of fire. This test required not just accuracy, but also judgment and the ability to make split-second decisions about target identification and engagement priorities. Sarah's performance on the civilian discrimination exercise was flawless, as she successfully engaged all hostile targets while avoiding any civilian casualties. Her careful target identification procedures and disciplined trigger control demonstrated the kind of professional competence that the unit required for its operational missions. The second tactical exercise involved engaging targets at unknown distances while operating as part of a small team. Candidates had to coordinate their fire with other team members, communicate effectively, and adapt to changing tactical situations while maintaining high levels of shooting performance. During the team shooting exercise, Sarah demonstrated natural leadership abilities and effective communication skills. She coordinated smoothly with her temporary teammates, shared critical information about targets and conditions, and adapted her shooting to support the overall team effectiveness rather than focusing solely on individual performance. The final phase of the range evaluation was designed to test candidates under the most demanding conditions possible. This exercise combined all the previous challenges into a single comprehensive scenario that required sustained high-level performance over an extended period while dealing with fatigue, stress, and complex tactical requirements. The comprehensive exercise began with a long approach march carrying full equipment, followed by immediate engagement of precision targets at various distances. Candidates then had to transition to dynamic shooting scenarios while dealing with fatigue and time pressure, concluding with complex tactical situations requiring judgment and decision-making skills. Sarah's performance throughout the comprehensive exercise was exceptional in every phase. Despite accumulating fatigue from the extended physical exertion, she maintained her shooting accuracy and continued to demonstrate sound tactical judgment. Her consistency throughout the demanding evaluation impressed all the observers and established her as a standout candidate. As the range evaluation concluded, word of Sarah's exceptional performance began to spread throughout the unit. Range personnel who had observed her shooting shared details of her accuracy and consistency with colleagues, and evaluators discussed her unusual combination of technical skill and mental toughness. Martinez has completed one of the most impressive range evaluations we've seen in recent years, O'Brien reported to the unit leadership. Her shooting skills are exceptional, but more importantly, she demonstrates the mental discipline and tactical understanding that we require for our most demanding operational assignments. The news of Sarah's outstanding range performance created a buzz of interest among unit personnel who had initially been skeptical about the new arrival. Her shooting scores and consistent performance under pressure had earned respect from experienced Marines who understood the difficulty of achieving such results under evaluation conditions. Staff Sergeant Rodriguez found Sarah after the evaluation to provide initial feedback on her range performance. His demeanor had shifted noticeably from the professional skepticism he had shown during her initial days with the unit to genuine respect and interest in her capabilities. "Outstanding work today, Martinez," Rodriguez acknowledged with obvious appreciation. "Your shooting performance was exceptional, and you demonstrated exactly the kind of consistency and mental toughness we look for in our personnel. You've definitely gotten people's attention with today's results." That evening, several squad members approached Sarah to congratulate her on her range performance and express their growing confidence in her abilities. The initial reserve and skepticism that had characterized their interactions was being replaced by genuine interest in her potential contributions to the team. Corporal Kim offered to share advanced techniques for equipment maintenance and preparation that could help her maintain her exceptional performance levels. Lance Corporal Williams expressed interest in training with her to improve his own long-range shooting capabilities. The shift in attitude from her squad members represented a significant milestone in her integration process. As Sarah cleaned her equipment and prepared her evaluation reports for the day, she felt a growing sense of confidence and belonging within the unit. Her exceptional range performance had established her credibility and demonstrated that she possessed the technical skills necessary for success with the elite reconnaissance unit. However, she also understood that marksmanship was only one component of the comprehensive evaluation process, and that she would need to continue performing at high levels in other skill areas to complete her integration successfully. The range day had been a crucial test, but additional challenges remained ahead as the unit continued to assess her overall suitability for operational assignment. The foundation had been laid for what would become a legendary reputation within the unit, but Sarah knew that maintaining such high performance standards would require continued dedication and focus throughout the remainder of her evaluation period and beyond. 2 weeks had passed since Sarah's exceptional performance on the range, and she had successfully completed every phase of her integration evaluation with consistently high marks. The unit leadership was preparing to make their final decision about her assignment to operational duties when an unexpected situation arose that would provide the ultimate test of her abilities and forever change how she was perceived within the elite reconnaissance unit. Major Robert Sterling, the unit commander, had scheduled a live-fire demonstration for visiting senior officers from Marine Corps headquarters. The demonstration was designed to showcase the unit's capabilities and justify continued funding for their specialized training programs. Every aspect of the event had been carefully planned to ensure a flawless presentation that would reflect well on the unit's reputation and professionalism. The demonstration was scheduled to take place at the unit's premier range facility, where selected personnel would showcase advanced marksmanship techniques and tactical procedures. The visiting officers included several generals who would be evaluating the unit's effectiveness and determining future resource allocations. The pressure to perform perfectly was enormous, as any failures or problems could have serious consequences for the unit's future. Master Gunnery Sergeant William Parker, the unit's most senior enlisted leader and a legendary marksman with over 25 years of experience, was scheduled to conduct the primary shooting demonstration. Parker had represented the Marine Corps in international competitions and held numerous marksmanship records that were considered virtually unbreakable. However, on the morning of the demonstration, Parker was rushed to the base hospital with severe food poisoning that left him unable to participate in the scheduled event. His sudden illness created a crisis for the unit leadership, as no other Marine had been prepared to conduct the high-level demonstration that would be observed by the visiting generals. Major Sterling convened an emergency meeting with his senior staff to discuss options for replacing Parker in the demonstration. The visiting officers were already en route to the base, and canceling or significantly modifying the planned event would send negative signals about the unit's readiness and reliability. "We need someone who can step in immediately and perform at the level expected for this demonstration," Sterling announced to his assembled staff. "The visiting officers are expecting to see exceptional marksmanship capabilities, and we cannot afford to disappoint them with a substandard presentation." Several experienced Marines were considered as potential replacements, but each had limitations that made them less than ideal choices. Some lacked the communication skills necessary to brief senior officers effectively, while others had not been trained on the specific equipment and procedures planned for the demonstration. It was Staff Sergeant Rodriguez who suggested that Sarah might be capable of filling Parker's role, despite her recent arrival and probationary status within the unit. Her exceptional range performance 2 weeks earlier had impressed everyone who had observed it, and her calm demeanor under pressure suggested she could handle the psychological stress of performing before senior officers. "Martinez has demonstrated exceptional shooting capabilities and maintains her composure under pressure," Rodriguez argued during the staff meeting. "While she's new to the unit, her technical skills and professional bearing might make her our best available option for this demonstration." Major Sterling was initially reluctant to entrust such an important event to someone who had not yet been fully accepted into the unit, but the lack of alternatives and time pressure forced him to consider Rodriguez's recommendation seriously. After reviewing Sarah's evaluation scores and consulting with the other senior staff members, he decided to take the risk. Sarah was summoned to the commander's office and briefed on the situation. She was told that she would be expected to conduct a live-fire demonstration before visiting general officers, showcasing the advanced marksmanship capabilities that justified the unit's specialized status and continued funding. "This is an unusual situation, Martinez," Major Sterling explained with obvious concern. "You'll be representing not just this unit, but the entire Marine Corps marksmanship community before some very senior officers. Any failure or poor performance could have serious consequences for all of us." Sarah accepted the assignment with characteristic calm, understanding both the honor and the pressure associated with the opportunity. She immediately began preparing for the demonstration, reviewing the planned shooting scenarios, and familiarizing herself with the specific equipment she would be using. The demonstration range was configured with targets at various distances, from relatively close precision shots to extreme long-range engagements that would showcase the most advanced marksmanship techniques. Sarah studied each target placement and developed her approach for engaging them in the sequence that would provide the most impressive presentation. Gunnery Sergeant O'Brien worked with Sarah to fine-tune her preparation, ensuring that her rifle was properly zeroed and that she understood every aspect of the planned demonstration. Despite the short notice and high pressure, Sarah maintained her methodical approach to preparation, checking and rechecking every detail. "Remember that these officers understand marksmanship and will recognize quality when they see it," O'Brien advised during their preparation session. "Focus on consistency and precision rather than trying to do anything flashy or dramatic. Your natural shooting abilities will speak for themselves if you maintain your normal approach." As the visiting officers arrived at the range facility, Sarah could feel the weight of expectation and scrutiny from everyone present. The demonstration had drawn a crowd of unit personnel who were curious to see how the new Marine would perform under such pressure, and many were skeptical about whether she could deliver the kind of performance that had been promised. Major Sterling provided the introductory briefing to the visiting officers, explaining the demonstration's purpose and introducing Sarah as the Marine who would showcase the unit's marksmanship capabilities. The generals listened politely, but their expressions suggested they were expecting to be impressed by what they were about to see. "Staff Sergeant Martinez will demonstrate the advanced marksmanship techniques that are fundamental to our reconnaissance mission," Sterling announced. "The shooting scenarios you'll observe represent the kind of precision and accuracy requirements that our personnel must meet during operational deployments." Sarah approached the firing line with her characteristic calm confidence, carrying herself with professional bearing that impressed the observing officers. She established her shooting position with deliberate precision, checking her equipment and preparing for the first engagement sequence of the demonstration. The first phase of the demonstration involved precision shooting at moderate distances, designed to showcase fundamental accuracy capabilities. Sarah's shots landed exactly where intended, producing tight groups that demonstrated exceptional consistency and control. The observing officers nodded appreciatively as they observed the target results through spotting scopes. As the demonstration progressed to longer distances, Sarah continued to deliver flawless performance. Her shots at 600, 800, and finally 1,000 yards all achieved the high accuracy levels that had been promised during the briefing. The visiting generals were clearly impressed by the consistent precision being demonstrated. The final phase of the demonstration was designed to showcase the most advanced marksmanship capabilities, involving extreme long-range shooting at targets positioned at the very limits of effective rifle range. This portion of the demonstration would require not just exceptional shooting skill, but also mastery of ballistics calculations and environmental factors. Sarah approached the extreme long-range portion of the demonstration with the same methodical preparation she had used throughout the event. She carefully assessed wind conditions, calculated bullet trajectory adjustments, and established her shooting position with perfect attention to detail. The watching crowd grew silent as they prepared to observe the most challenging phase of the demonstration. The target for the extreme long-range demonstration was positioned at 1,200 yards, a distance that challenged even the most experienced marksmen and required perfect execution of advanced shooting techniques. Sarah took her time to ensure every aspect of her preparation was correct before attempting the shot that would conclude the demonstration. As Sarah settled into her final shooting position and prepared for the culminating shot of the demonstration, an unexpected wind shift created additional complexity for the engagement. Lesser marksmen might have been rattled by the changing conditions, but Sarah adapted smoothly to the new environmental factors. The single shot that followed was perfect in every respect, striking the distant target with precision that exceeded even the optimistic expectations of the demonstration planners. The impact was clearly visible to all observers, creating a moment of stunned silence before enthusiastic applause erupted from the watching crowd. "Outstanding demonstration, Staff Sergeant Martinez," declared Brigadier General Patricia Morrison, the senior visiting officer. "That was some of the finest marksmanship I've witnessed in my 30 years of service. Your unit is fortunate to have someone with such exceptional capabilities." The successful completion of the demonstration created an immediate transformation in how Sarah was perceived within the unit. Her performance under the most demanding circumstances possible had definitively established her reputation and earned the respect of every Marine who had witnessed the event. Major Sterling approached Sarah immediately after the demonstration concluded, his expression reflecting both relief and genuine admiration for her performance. "Exceptional work today, Martinez," he stated with obvious satisfaction. "You've not only saved this demonstration, but you've also set a new standard for marksmanship performance within this unit." The visiting officers spent additional time discussing the demonstration with Sarah, asking detailed questions about her training and techniques. Their obvious interest and respect confirmed that her performance had achieved exactly the kind of impression that the unit leadership had hoped to create. Word of Sarah's demonstration spread quickly throughout the base, with detailed accounts of her exceptional shooting being shared among Marines who had not been present to witness the event personally. Her reputation as an exceptional marksman was established instantly and permanently within the Marine Corps community at Camp Pendleton. That evening, Sarah was formally notified that she had successfully completed her integration evaluation and was being assigned to permanent operational duties with the reconnaissance unit. The assignment came with special recognition for her outstanding performance during the demonstration and acknowledgement of her exceptional capabilities. Staff Sergeant Rodriguez found Sarah after the formal notification had been delivered to express his personal congratulations and admit his initial skepticism had been completely unfounded. "I've never seen anything like what you accomplished today," he acknowledged with genuine respect. "You've earned your place here in the most impressive way possible." The successful demonstration marked the end of Sarah's probationary period and the beginning of her career as a fully accepted member of one of the Marine Corps' most elite units. Her exceptional performance had not only secured her position, but had also established her as one of the unit's most valuable assets. As Sarah reflected on the events of the day and the journey that had brought her to this point, She felt deep satisfaction in having proven that determination, skill, and preparation could overcome any initial doubts or skepticism. The moment when her single perfect shot had silenced the entire range would become the defining moment of her military career and the foundation for a legendary reputation that would follow her throughout her service.